1 week ago, I finished the 100-day project. I was just having a look at the date of my last upload.
Hello.
It's been a wild 100 days, that's for sure. Hi everyone, if you're new here, my name is Sally and I'm a mixed media artist in Australia. And if you're not new here, welcome back. I have been very busy. I have just finished drawing 100 portraits over 100 consecutive days, which is crazy. I've never done the 100-day project before, so today I want to talk to you about how I made this work for me as a disabled person, what was successful, what I learnt, what I might do different next year. Will I do it again next year? Who knows? Let's talk about it. I really did a lot of pre-planning before the 100 days and thought about what would be the most manageable way for me to achieve this. So I decided on one sketchbook and one art supply, being my favourite mechanical pencil. I knew I was going to do portraits, specifically a portrait series on various activists, both historical and currently working, and I wrote a huge list in my daily diary. I needed to come up with 100 names and I actually came up with 166 altogether. So there's still a lot of names that I didn't end up crossing off, but it was very satisfying doing the drawing each day and then crossing a name off the list. I also kept a record of how many pencil leads I used, using 14 leads over the 100 days. And I did have to buy a replacement can of fixative on day 75. Now, if you didn't see my initial video where I was preparing for the 100-day project, I'll give you a brief rundown on why I decided to choose activists specifically to draw. There's so many terrible, harmful people in the world and we're constantly seeing bad news, and it really helps me personally to remind myself of the huge amount of people who are doing good things, while also keeping up to date with the bad things. So I really wanted to highlight the people who are making positive changes for a various wide range of topics, just like human rights, the animals, the environment, housing, food security. Like there's so many issues and there's so many people doing amazing work. So I was really just scratching the surface at 100. Like I said, my list still had 66 names on it when I finished the project, so I could have kept going. But yeah, it was really fulfilling to work on, to draw these people every day and to tell their stories. Now, I chose each subject each day as I just felt like drawing them. Sometimes it was their birthday, sometimes it was an anniversary of some sort, sometimes I was just thinking about this person that day. They were drawn in no particular order of importance at all. And I spent about an hour each day on the actual drawing, and I was posting them to Instagram each day. So I was spending about another hour writing the caption, doing research on the person and making sure I was getting all the specific facts about their activism correct. And yeah, so it was about 2 hours per day, which actually was a lot more than I'd initially thought that I was going to spend. I've mentioned in my intro, and you probably already know if you've been here for a while or you know me in real life, I have multiple sclerosis, which leaves me very fatigued each day and physically limited in what I can do. So I really didn't think that I would be spending so much time each day working on this project. And I do truly believe that it's because it was a subject and a theme I'm so passionate about that kept me motivated and kept me going and was the reason for my success. That, in conjunction with keeping it simple with one sketchbook and one art supply. So I didn't have to think about composition or color or even like cleanup with my supplies. This worked out perfect for me. And it was because I was so overwhelmed with the amount of work ahead of me doing 100 portraits over 100 days, which is like such a long time. The project started on Feb 22nd, I believe, and finished on June the 1st. So it finished like halfway into the year. It was a lot. I was very overwhelmed before I started. Because I had a relatively easy setup, it meant that on days where I was super tired, super fatigued, I could actually do the project from bed. It was really crucial to find a way to make the project flexible to me rather than me being flexible to the project, if that makes sense. Because in addition to managing my disability and doing 100 portraits, I also had 6 visits to the hospital, as well as showing up to my day job. So the 100 days was very, very hectic. And most days started like this. If I was home that day in the morning, I would grab a cup of green tea or a coffee and sit at my desk, grab my sketchbook, and get started. If I was home for the day and I started the 100-day project in the morning, it was a really great warm up for the rest of the day in my studio. If I was working that day and I came home after work and did the 100-day project, it was a really, really great way to wind down at the end of the day. A lot of the subjects that I chose have written books, either memoirs, autobiographies, or non-fiction books about their specific area of expertise. And I am so lucky that I have a lot of these books in my own personal collection. And speaking of books, one book that I got last year, which was also crucial, I think, into my success with the 100-day project, is Katie Hessel's How to Live an Artful Life. This book is incredible. It lives on my desk and it has an entry for every day of the year. So every page is inspiration from different artists to help you bring your creativity to your life every day. And it was really, really fantastic to start the day with the page from the book, and some of them were so relevant and really, really helped me focus for the day. And then I would get out my sketchbook and pick my subject and start drawing. And I think this whole combination, like the way that I prepared for the project, the way I simplified it and made it flexible to me and my needs, the way that I used Katie's book to motivate me and keep me on track each day. I think these practical things in combination with my passion for the subject matter really was the keys to my success. All these things in combination. No, I'm not going to lie, some days were really, really hard. I feel like all I did for pretty much 3 months of my life was draw a portrait, go to the hospital, go to work. I had big plans to do regular live streams. I was going to do at least once a week over the 14 weeks. You know how many live streams I did? And when I look back at the whole 100 portraits, which I'm going to show you at the end, don't worry, I can see the days where I really wasn't feeling fantastic, because that's when I completely lost the likeness. And because this was just a sketch in my sketchbook, it was a one and done. If I didn't capture it, I wasn't going to start it again. Like, this was what I captured on the day, no going back. If I was going to be making a full art piece or a painting or something like that, it'd be completely different. I would rework the sketch until I got it right, but I only had limited time and limited energy to do this every day. So it was also a good lesson in just capturing what you capture and moving on. It doesn't have to be perfect. And as I mentioned earlier, some days it really did work and it ended up being a really great warm-up at the start of the day. And I did actually get quite a lot of painting done throughout the 100 days as well, which I was not expecting at all. I ended up submitting 3 original paintings for the Incognito art show. That's an annual exhibition where artists submit work anonymously and all the artwork costs the same. So you don't know what, or you don't know who you're buying, you just buy the art for what you like, not by the name attached to it. And all the money raised from the sale of the artworks goes to supporting artists with disability, which is obviously a cause that's really close to my heart. Also, in the middle of the 100 days, one of my favourite filmmakers, John Waters, had his 80th birthday, so I did a painting to celebrate him as well. I think one of the big lessons that I learned throughout the 100 days is that I can sit down for an hour, which may not seem like a big portion of my day, and actually get a lot done. Like I can actually complete a full portrait in 1 hour, which made me feel like I can achieve more, because sometimes I will sort of start thinking about the art that I want to make, and I'll sit down at my desk and I think, oh my goodness, I don't have like 8 hours to sit down at my desk to get something fully finished, but I can achieve a lot in just 1 hour. Whether that's a full sketch in my sketchbook, whether that's an hour working on a painting that I'm working on, it really got me thinking about how I can do a lot in smaller chunks of time, rather than thinking that I need to spend a whole day on something, which with my disability is pretty much impossible and has always left me feeling like I can't work as much as I want to, which I can't, but I can break it up into smaller, more manageable chunks of time. So that was a really important lesson for me, and really, really important for me to learn throughout this 100 days. I know anyone with disability and chronic illness will know exactly what I'm talking about, but you sometimes think back to the capacity that you used to have, and it's quite frustrating when you can't do as much as you used to do. And I guess it's just all lessons in learning how to adapt and learning what your capacity is and how you can make small changes to make sure you're not missing out on everything. If you are a disabled or chronically ill artist and you're watching this, I think you're doing an amazing job, and however you can show up to the page and show up for your art is phenomenal, and I'm proud of you. Now, I don't know if I really learnt a lot about doing portraits throughout this 100 days. I've always loved doing portraits, but one thing I really, really noticed was my confidence in doing hair, because I had to draw so much hair over this 100 days, all different types and textures and lengths and styles, and that was something that was really, really, really evident that I upskilled in. Alrighty, so now we are at the 100th day. This was day 100. I cannot believe I actually even got to day 100. Day 100 was on June 1st. So when I opened up Katie's book, and this was the perfect page for today. Resistance and change often begin in art. This was exactly what I wanted to achieve with this project, and it was such a fitting day to finish this project on. It was like everything was just meant to be. I was like, I'm on the right track. The project's going well. I'm on day 100. That prompt was perfect. I truly, truly believe in everything that I achieved with this project. And one of the really, really special things that happened was it ended up resonating a lot with a lot of my subjects. When I tagged the subjects in my Instagram posts, I got so many incredible comments, messages, like DMs, people that I've admired for literally decades of my life following my art account because of this project, because I'd drawn them. Phenomenal. Like, I could not have anticipated the way that this project resonated, not just with myself, but with such a wide variety of people and the subjects themselves. That was something that was really, really, really special to me. The amount of followers and the likes, the numbers don't mean anything, but if you're connecting with somebody because you're making meaningful art, that is the most important thing. So the 100th day of the 100-day project ended up being what would have been Marilyn Monroe's 100th birthday, which was just, it was too good to be true. She wasn't famous because of her activism, but it is one of the things that I absolutely loved about her. And it was a really great opportunity not only to draw one of my favorite faces of all time, but to talk about the amazing things that she did as well. Woo! Done! 100. the gorgeous Marilyn on what would have been her 100th birthday. Perfect. So let's have a look at the entire 100 portraits. If you'd like to know more about these people, like I said, I did write quite lengthy captions on each Instagram post each day. So if you head to my Instagram, you can read all about these amazing people there. But I'm also going to be publishing this entire collection as a zine later this month. So it'll have every single portrait plus a rundown, like their captions, some writing about how extraordinary these people are, some resources for you to get involved in your own activism journey or to learn more about different initiatives and organizations. And I'm really, really, really excited about putting that zine together. So my Ko-fi members, they're the wonderful, wonderful people who support me each month financially. They get the zine first, and then I'll be listing it online for sale. Now, the big question, will I do the 100-day project again next year? Honestly, I don't know, because I was getting ideas throughout the 100 days about what I'd like to do. Like I was like, oh, I'd love to make like 100 collages and things like that. But my success this year was because I kept it really simple, and on my bad days, I could still do a portrait. So I really don't know. But I'm thinking about it. And I'm also thinking about doing like a smaller version of this. Like I really do want to do some daily collage work, and maybe I'll do that for, you know, a week or 2 weeks or something like that, not a whole 14. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know. February 2027 feels like a very long way away, so not sure yet. Thank you so much for watching. It's really good to be back. It's good to have this project done, completed, finished. I'm really proud of myself for actually getting it done. It was a lot of work. Please let me know if you took part in the 100-day project this year. What was your subject? Did you change subjects, mediums? I'd love to hear about it. Like this video if you liked this video, and consider subscribing to the channel for more infrequent art stuff. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.
Hello